They're essential to California's economy. Wine grapes are one of our highest grossing commodities, but right now there's trouble in the market and it's causing local vineyards to tear out acres of vines. ABC 10's Gabriel Porras has the story.
Dark clouds loom over this year's grape growing season at JW Moore Vineyards in Lodi.
We're throwing money on the ground.
Operations manager Garrett Schaefer has been in the industry for 13 years. He says this is a tough but familiar decision.
What used to be here on this field?
So this was 10 acres of Cabernet grapes, actually. In the last couple of seasons, currently we're up to 50 acres that have come out of the ground, and we're possibly going to pull another 15 out.
Leaving behind just dirt and mangled metal stakes on fallowed land on this 130-year-old vineyard.
The farmer wears a lot of hats these days. Right now, we're bringing in a lot of wine from other countries cheaper than we can farm the grapes, and so it makes it really tough to compete with those type of prices.
Garrett also says increasing government regulations like requiring sustainable certifications are keeping production costs high, while grape prices haven't increased in decades.
Now we're dealing with like air quality issues with the Air Resources Board. When we do pull out a vineyard, you're no longer allowed to open air burn, so that price has increased, 3 times.
In some wineries, Garrett sells to require new, laborious methods of growing.
What the winery wants is they want us to take all these shoots off, which includes the grapes with it, and then they want you to shoot then back to like 2 to 3 shoots per, this is called a spur. So we're reducing the number of shoots for quality. I always say we're spending money to lose money. Every time you do this, you're basically throwing a potential bunch of grapes on the ground.
And it's not just Garrett's vineyard struggling. Scenes like this with vines completely ripped out of the ground are becoming hard to miss when driving around Lodi.
This is going to be a challenging year for both growers and vintners.
The Lodi Wine Grape Commission represents nearly 750 wine grape growers in the region.
Farming about 90,000 acres of grapes. It's over 20% of California's wine production.
Stuart Spencer, the commission's executive director, says an estimated 7,000 acres of local vines have been pulled out so far this year.
For those of us that have been in the business a long time, we've seen all sorts of down cycles and we've seen all sorts of up cycles. This one is particularly challenging.
And statewide, there are now 15,000 fewer acres of wine grapes than before the pandemic. Stewart, like Garrett, says it's due to cheap foreign wine. He estimates that as many as 400,000 tons of California's grapes were left on the vine last harvest, while that same number was imported into the state.
That's undercutting the California growers here and keeping the price and demand down for Lodi and California grown grapes. There's lots of other industries that benefit from the success and growth of California wine, and they are all going to be struggling as we struggle too.
That's why he encourages wine drinkers to read the fine print.
It says Chardonnay, but when you look very carefully at the packaging, it says American Chardonnay, and that can include 25% Chilean or Australian Chardonnay.
Back on Garrett's family-owned vineyard,
it's very peaceful, it's very relaxing.
He's hoping you'll pick the local bottle too to keep cultivating tradition.
I've always said some of the best ideas and thinking that I've ever done is on a tractor as I'm driving through the field. I hope that the family can keep doing this for another 100 years.
And despite all this uncertainty, Lodi farmers are still trying to adapt and even grow different types of grapes. So if you want to help out your local vineyard, go visit them and have a glass of their local wine.